I thought a phone call would be difficult. I didn't know who to ask for, or where you'd be or anything. Telegram seemed easier. I don't have a light.
Here. What's his name?
Who?
The doctor.
Gregson. Dr. Gregson. They say he's good. Very good. They say he is the best for this sort of thing. For this sort of operation. I'm so glad you're here. I was scared they wouldn't let you come.
No, it was easy. No problem at all. The sergeant thought I'd got some girl into trouble. I had to get an emergency pass. What's the matter, kid? He said your girl got pregnant.
How I hate these places.
Me too.
You ready to go? Yeah. Be right with you. Okay, right. See you.
Mrs. Arlen, sorry to keep you waiting.
How is he?
I think we got it all. It had spread deep into the lymph. We had to take out a lung.
I have an idea now, finally, of what my father was like, of what he looked like, of what he sounded like. Even, and I count myself lucky for this, a small idea of the kind of man he was. I have a picture, anyway, of him and me in the last couple of years before he died. A picture in which we are both fairly clear, are clear to each other, seem to touch. But all those years before, there are a few pictures, and the ones that still remain seem now so very blurred.
You've got to take it easy, Dr. Gregson says.
Sure, I'll take it easy, but my heart's fine. I'll be all right.
He got better for a while.
Bye, matron.
And they went to the south of France, to the Carlton at Cannes. It was a good time for them, I think. He seems much better, my mother wrote to me, hoping it was true. But the world had turned. The Riviera had changed. Everyone had gone, or nearly, or just not around, or no longer interested. It must have been a lovely life for them in the 30s. Blue water, the Mediterranean, so full of light and space, and spaces between people. We had a speedboat then.
Oui, bien sûr, mademoiselle. Tout de suite, s'il vous plaît. Hello, Maxine, dear. How are you? Fine, thank you. When? Well, hang on, I'll ask her. Darling! Darling! Maxine! She's asking us to lunch tomorrow. Says that Willie Moore will be there.
We're not doing anything, are we?
Not as far as I know.
Well, that'd be lovely.
Well, that'll be lovely, Maxine. Yes, thank you very much. What time? Oh, fine. See you then. Hmm? Yes, thank you. And ours to you, too. Mm. Bye-bye. Almost ready?
Almost.
Did you really know all those people?
Oh, what people?
All those writers. You know, like Mom and Scott Fitzgerald.
Well, I suppose so. Yeah, I guess so.
What do you mean, I guess so?
I don't remember.
Well, I'd remember.
I don't remember very clearly.
I'd remember.
I was just a child, Amy. I didn't know who they were. They were just, friends of my father's. People he talked about, you know?
Well, you must have seen them.
Sometimes. Not often. Well, it's the same as now, really. They're just people he has drinks with. They're not real friends.
Why not?
They're just not.
Hasn't he got any real friends?
Some, I guess. One or two. Nobody special.
Have you told him about me?
What do you think?
I don't know.
Of course I've told him.
Well, what did he say?
Well, he, asked who you were, where you lived. I haven't told him about
getting married.
No. But I will.
Not now.
I love you, Amy.
I love you.
Please.
Not here.
Okay.
Got a cigarette?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. You know, my mother asked me about you.
What did you say?
She asked if you were Jewish.
Jewish?
I showed her your picture. She thought you looked Jewish.
You can't be English. English people live in England. French people live in France.
I am English. It says so on my passport.
Okay, prove it. How can I, stupid?
Oh, come on, you two. Stop arguing.
Sir, he says I'm French, sir.
Well, what's wrong with that? They're fine people, the French.
But I'm English.
His father lives in France.
Stays in France.
Okay.
I am English, sir. It says so on my passport.
If your father's French, you're French.
He's not French.
Okay, what is he?
Look, he's Armenian. Aren't I right?
Armenian? What's that?
Do you speak Armenian, Mike?
No, sir.
Not at all.
No, sir.
How do you know he's Armenian?
Look, I read it in the paper. He's famous, you see, a very famous writer.
Your dad?
Well, not famous.
What's he write?
I don't know. Books.
He writes novels. Haven't you ever heard of The Green Hat by Michael Arlen?
No, sir.
Well, it's a bestseller. Now, come on, you two, stop that. Stop horsing around. And you, Palmer, have you finished your shower?
Armenian? What kind of sports do they play there?
I don't know. I've never been there.
I didn't know he was Armenian.
Dekran Kuyumjan. That's his real name?
Dick what?
Dekran Kuyumjan. When he wrote his first book, the publisher made him change it.
Jeez, I'm not surprised.
Did I ever tell you what happened to my first book?
No, what?
It's a good story.
Ah, no, poor Hugh, you've heard it too many times.
No, it's a good story. No.
Well, anyway, I wrote this book called The London Venture. I was 24 at the time. Heinemann took it.
Yes, I like it very much.
What, you read it?
Yes. It's very, moving. Gentle.
But George Moore, and that's a fact. Radek actually thought that George Moore had written it under a pseudonym.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yes, he said so in his review.
Alec who?
War. Oh, I'm so sorry. Alec War. Well, where was I?
The book.
Your book had
London
just come
Venture.
out.
Ah, yes. Yes, well, it sold very well and disappeared. The first edition sold out, it was never reprinted. Very odd, very strange, very mystifying. 20 years passed. 20 years passed. And suddenly I get a letter from a warehouse in Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires? But it seems that my brother-in-law, Marco, has business interests in Buenos Aires. Now, I should explain that Marco is a typical Armenian, with a typical Armenian's attitude of help thy kin if it kill thee both mentality. And he obviously thought that I needed every bit of encouragement I could get, and so he bought up every goddamn copy of the book he could find and packed them off to Buenos Aires. Can you believe that? What? The crates of them. I mean crates and crates.
Oh, that's a wonderful story.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
Michael! He is full of wonderful stories. Tell him the one about the Astrakhan coat.
What?
The Astrakhan collar. You know it.
Oh, that's not very funny.
Oh, please, tell me.
Well, it was when I was very young and flamboyant. And the green hat had just been put on Broadway, and I'd fled to Chicago in a very splendid Astrakhan coat. And a young reporter came up to me and he asked me, tell me, Mr. Arlen, what's your opinion of yourself as an artist? Per ardua ad Astrakhan, I replied.
Aren't you ever tempted to start writing again?
Oh, I write a little. Nothing serious. I retired. Say again, please, Jacko.
I thought writers never retire.
Oh, don't you believe it. All writers say that they're going to retire when they've got enough money. And since they never do have enough money, they never retire. And so poor old Willie Morm has to go on churning them out, book after book after book. I was more modest. I said, when I've got X amount of money, I shall retire. Well, eventually, it just so happened that I did have X amount of money, and I retired. And I lived happily ever after.
Yes, but don't you ever feel the need...
Thank you, Jacob.
Don't you ever feel the need to write?
Why should I? I have the affection of my wife, the tolerance of my children, and the friendship of head waiter. What more can a man ask?
He'd wanted to be so good, so shining, so flashing, such a proud, exotic animal. And he'd had all these things. Nearly had them. Had his hands around them, had fondled them. The books, money, all those bright whites and blues beside the Mediterranean. And then it had all begun to go. The sun on the white houses. The sun on the Mediterranean. The sun on everything.
My beauty.
14 books written in the 20s and 30s. Fame, money, and then nothing. I often wonder how all that nerve and passion got so locked in and allowed itself to go underground. Was it fear?
Michael? What are you doing here?
I just drove down.
Well, yes, I can see that. Is something wrong?
I want to talk to you.
What?
I want to talk to you.
Have you seen your father?
No, he's not home.
Oh, damn. Well, why didn't you let us know you were coming?
I couldn't.
What do you mean you couldn't? Hello? Yes? Margot, my dear. How are you? Ah. Oh, we're just fine, just fine. Today? When? Really? Oh, yes, that's right. We met him at Vincent Sheen's place. Oh, yes. We'd love to. I'd better check with Decran, huh? Look, Margot, I'll call you tonight, huh? Yeah, Thursday or Friday of next week. Yes. Sure. Margot, I have to go, huh? Michael's here glaring at me. Michael. My son, Michael. We'll call you tonight, Margot, huh? Yeah. Well, thanks again. Goodbye. Now then, what's all this about, huh?
I'm planning to get married.
Who? Who are you planning to marry?
Amy, of course. Amy Wells.
And what does Amy think of all this?
Well, she wants it, yes. I mean, she's very happy. I mean, she wants to marry me.
Have you discussed this plan of yours with Mrs. Wells?
No. Well, not in so many words, but she knows we want to get married. I think she knows.
You must be out of your mind. You're only a child.
I'm not a child.
You're both children.
I'm 21.
21? Well, I'm not going to stand by while you ruin your life.
I'm not going to ruin my life. I love her. We love each other.
I thought you were more intelligent than that.
Oh, God.
Do you have to get married?
What?
Do you have to get married? Is this Amy of yours pregnant?
No, of course not.
Well, that's something, huh?
Look, I don't care what you say. We are going to get married.
You can't.
Why not?
I won't let you.
You can't stop me!
God. God.
voilà la vie rose.
Michael's here.
What?
He drove down this afternoon.
What's the matter? Have I met her?
No. I showed you some pictures.
Ah, yes. Very pretty.
Yes, she is. She's kind and gentle. And I love her. She loves me.
You're very young.
You were young, too, when you left home. Younger than me. 19.
Ah, but I was 33 before I got married.
Does it matter?
What?
Being young.
I don't know. Who knows? Did I ever tell you when we got married about that priest? That Orthodox priest?
Yes, you told me.
Oh. We got married at the Villa Fiorentina. Had its own chapel, you know. Quite a place. She's a remarkable woman, you know, your great-grandmother. And she was beautiful, too. Just like your mother, she was very, very beautiful. Oh, she lived in that villa for God knows how many years. Lived out her life amongst all those magnolias, lemon trees, green lawns, peacocks. Madame la Princesse, they used to call her. Madame la Princesse. Monsieur le Prince died in a seaplane crash. One of the first seaplane crashes. She was most particular about that. One of the first seaplane crashes. She was quite a modernist, you know. She was very kind to us, too. Well, more than kind. My God, we had a hell of a time at first, you know. And your mother's father did his best to destroy the prospects of marriage. He thought that I was some sort of adventurer. Well, he said as much. You're nothing but an adventurer, he said. God, he was a forbidding creature. Bristling moustache and starched collar. Like a real-life count out of a Phillips Offenheim novel. He used to send us terrible telegrams, I remember, too. He even disinherited your mother by telegram, would you believe it? So we ran away. Ran away to Cannes. To the Villa Fiorentina. A great grandmother looked after us. The family relented, and so we got married. Your great-grandmother had a passion for lamb chops. I never saw her eat anything else. The smell of mint was everywhere. I worry about you. I can't give you happiness. Oh, I wish to God I could. My God.
I loved him that night. I felt we were close, the way I'd hoped we would be, could be.
I've been thinking about you and this girl.
Huh?
It's all too rushed.
What?
It's much too sudden. You're too young to get married.
I'm not too young.
You're still at college. You haven't even got a job.
I'll get a job.
Your mother and I did not send you to all those schools, St. Paul's, Harvard, to see you end up driving a truck.
What do you mean, driving a truck?
To see you end up as nothing. I'm 21. It's out of the question.
She had blue eyes, brown hair, wore neutral lipstick. She'd had her coming out party 2 years before at the Far Hills Country Club. She was writing her term paper on sexual symbolism in the Malabar Caves, which I thought very exciting. Everything was terrible.
Maybe your parents are right, Michael.
They're not right.
They might be.
They're not.
Maybe we should wait.
There's no point in waiting.
I always thought your mother was so nice.
It doesn't matter what my mother thinks.
It matters to me.
We can just get married. We can get a room somewhere.
Get a room where?
It doesn't matter.
It matters.
Okay. New York, then. Or maybe Europe.
Where in Europe?
I don't know. Paris.
I'd love to live in Paris.
Come home with me,
I can't.
please.
I can't. How do we live?
I'll get a job. Come home with me.
What job?
Oh, I'll get a job.
Maybe they're right, Michael.
Christ, that was awful. We'd gone back to her place. Her mother was out. We were on the sofa. I'd put the rubber on first in the bathroom. Ever tried that? Oh, Jesus, it's difficult. Anyway, there we were on the sofa, and suddenly the front door opens. The mother's come back early.
Jesus.
So I zipped myself up, and in she came. How are you, Michael? Nice to see you, Michael. All that crap. And I could feel the rubber slipping off, sliding down my leg.
Christ.
Mm-hmm. So, I didn't look down, you know? I just fell around with my foot. And her mother kept staring at me. What's the matter, Michael? What a strange expression. Is anything wrong?
Christ almighty. Well, what happened?
Oh, I managed to pick it up. She never noticed.
Did you make it with the girl?
Oh, sure. Amy. Her name was Amy Wells. Her mother took her off to San Francisco. 6 months later, I was drafted.
Arlen? Telegram for Arlen.
Over here.
I thought a phone call would be difficult. I didn't know who to ask for, or where you'd be, or anything. Telegram seemed easier. I don't have a light.
My father died when I was 25. His wife, my mother, died 8 years after that. Cancer. The Black Spectre. The fifth horseman. She was in Greece, in Athens, visiting my uncle. My sister was there, too. It was she who wired me that something was seriously wrong.
Is she all right?
It's the drugs. At least she's peaceful.
She's disappearing before our eyes.
These goddamn doctors in New York, all that garbage about colitis and pancreatitis, they knew it was cancer.
They must have known. If only she hadn't come here.
They're very good to her here.
Yes, it's a good clinic.
You should have seen them at the hotel. You've never seen so many frightened faces. They couldn't wait to get her out.
Well, the Hiltons don't cater for death.
Is that better?
I hear you're right, Mr. Allen. The stories I could tell you. I'm Egyptian. I knew Farouk. The stories I could tell you.
When he died, she was left like an astronaut, cast adrift from his spaceship, and spinning slowly, slowly off into the void. My mother, my sister's mother, our kin, our flesh. That girl of the 30s, beautiful with a slightly foreign look, with a not quite gentle smile. The girl who worried over what to say to Mr. Mom, or what to write in a thank you note to Lady Mendel. The girl who erupted in sudden rages, whose dark eyes proclaimed her proud sexuality. The girl whose body, grown old, was now consuming her. My mother, my flesh. Here.
They loved each other a lot. Didn't they?
Well, they told each other that they loved each other a lot. They told us that they loved each other a lot. I wonder what they were like in bed.
Michael.
Haven't you ever wondered that? Well, I have. Well, lately I have. I should think they were probably very good. Whatever that might mean. There have been so many times when I have railed and wriggled out of being taken for my father's son, my father's second. But then, in that room, then I felt how cruel of life that he should not have been there himself, and also quite extraordinarily glad that it was me.
Let's take the road down by the sea this time. It will be longer, but nothing really starts until 10. Anyway.
Oh, my beauty.
both dead, I am still their child, and will remain so for the rest of my life. My father was the same, and so were his brothers. Uncle Krikor, Uncle Rupin, Uncle Taki. No matter how often they became parents, had children, they remained, more than any other people I've known, themselves children of parents. It was the first winter of the war. We all went up to Southport for a family Christmas. My father loved all his family, really loved them, really cared for family.
Everything was finally sorted out, and your great-grandmother agreed that we could get married at the villa. That's the villa at camp. Well, you remember going there, Michael? Hmm? Well, anyway, the ceremony had just begun. All of a sudden, I had a commotion going on behind me. And so I lifted my head and I looked round. And what do you think I saw?
What?
A priest. An Orthodox priest. No, with a great black hat, long black beard, great big black gown. So there he was, striding down the aisle towards us. You can't see that we got properly married, you see.
Why?
Your grandmother had sent him all the way from England. And she didn't trust all those Roman Catholics in France. Oh, no. So she sent an Armenian Orthodox priest to see that we got properly married.
What did he do?
I don't know, really. He was just sort of muttering behind me.
Muttering what?
But I don't know. I suppose it was the Orthodox marriage service. But, I couldn't hear a word. Well, it seems funny now, but it was ghastly at the time.
Oh, ghastly.
Could I have some more, please?
Any more and you'll burn.
What would you like, Atalanta?
Oh, no more for me, thank you. Those mince pies were delicious.
And the turkey.
We were lucky to get it.
I finished.
What about the Madeira, de Crown? Help yourself.
Mum, I finished.
All right.
Don't you want a mince pie?
No, I'm full up.
No what?
No, thank you. Can I have an apple, Uncle Taffy?
Yes, of course you can, Venezia.
I wonder what things will be like next Christmas.
God knows.
I wish it was snowing.
We had a letter from Krikor. He thinks the war will last at least another year.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, it might.
Never.
Can I go and play some records?
Not yet.
Oh, please.
Now look, Sarkis, we don't want all that jazz stuff filling the house. We had more than enough yesterday.
What are we doing this afternoon?
Oh, that depends on your Uncle Taki.
Can I go and try my bike?
Yes, we'll all go on the golf course later.
Will you stay in London?
I don't know.
I shall. If Hitler starts dropping bombs, I shall send Atalanta and the children over to America.
You wouldn't go yourself.
Oh, no.
Well, we should be safe enough in Southport.
I don't want to go to America. Gosh, I do.
Well, you've got to look after your mother.
I think bombs would be exciting. I don't. You'd be scared stiff. No, I wouldn't. Yes, you would. No, I wouldn't.
Stop it, boys.
You were scared of Snow White. Only the witch. Can I have another mince pie?
Just one.
Where are you going?
Upstairs.
Well, be quiet then. We've had enough Benny Goodman for one Christmas.
More than enough.
Yes, more than enough.
Uncle Decan, are there lots of soldiers in London?
Oh, quite a few. Well, barrage balloons, you know. Sandbags. Anti-aircraft guns in Hyde Park.
Gosh. Come on, you two.
Oh.
Oh, just look at all these plates.
Never mind. We'll do it later.
We shall all be asleep later.
We'll do the washing up.
The women do the cooking. The men do the washing up.
That's right.
That was a really wonderful meal, really wonderful.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Where do these go?
In the kitchen cupboard.
How is Krikor? Is he well?
Yes, he seems to be. Worried about the war, of course.
Yes. Well, he's always been a warrior. I remember the last time that we came here, he
You must take care.
Well, I'll be all right.
There's no reason why you shouldn't go to America as well.
I couldn't leave England. I belong here as much as you do.
We belong to each other, Decran. Exiles belong to each other.
Seems stupid to me.
Everything seems stupid to you.
It's stupid to stay in England. I mean, geez.
He stayed in England because he had to.
Why did he have to?
Because he had to, that's why.
No, he didn't. Not if he's Armenian.
He's not Armenian.
Mr. Stevens said he was.
Well, he's not anymore. He's English.
He worked for the Civil Defense in Coventry. But sometime in 1944, a question was raised in the House of Commons. Why was a person of foreign ancestry allowed to occupy such a key position in these crucial times? It was a nightmare for him. He packed his bags and left. He landed in New York shortly after D-Day. That evening, he took my mother out to dinner to the colony. The first time both of them had been together that way for several years. They were in high spirits. Champagne, the works. The following morning, he phoned me at school. It was as if I'd never heard his voice before. I'd quite forgotten it. "How are you?" he kept saying helplessly, and I, equally helpless, would answer, "Fine," or something like that. It must have been very hard for him. We'd become strangers.
Read in this light.
Yes, I can.
You'll ruin your eyes.
Darling, what time are we expected?
8.
Come here, Michael. I want to show you something. Now, there's a way of putting the pin in without ruining the tie. Cigarettes? Holder. Money. Lighter.
In the dining room on the sideboard.
Do you know what I'd like to do?
No, what?
I'd like to ride in the Grand National.
Well, I think that's extremely unlikely. It's very dark in here.
Don't do that.
Why not?
Soft light's better.
Soft? It's non-existent.
I told her she'd ruin her eyes.
I like it dark and mysterious. It's more...
More what?
You know, it makes me look more attractive.
Oh, what nonsense.
No, it's not. I need all the help I can get.
Rubbish.
Don't listen to her. She knows she's attractive. Not beautiful, perhaps, but definitely attractive.
Quite right. Wow. You've got a very good figure.
That means you've got nice tits.
Michael, for heaven's sake.
Shut up.
Michael, you must not say such things. Tell him not to say such things.
You mustn't say such things.
If only I hadn't got this nose.
It's your father's nose.
And what's wrong with it?
Well, look at it.
That's a very good Armenian nose, that is.
I don't want a good Armenian nose.
Well, have it bobbed then.
Have it what?
Carmel Myers had her nose bobbed. Did you know that?
Who's Carmel Myers?
A silent movie star.
They say that she had her nose cut off to spite her race.
Oh, really? That is dreadful.
You can't really have your nose cut off, can you?
Oh, yes. They're excellent doctors these days.
You mean cut right off?
No, of course not.
No, they just take out a little bone from up there.
No! No! No, I couldn't! I couldn't have an operation!
Now look what you've done.
I was only joking, for heaven's sake. I was only joking. For God's sake, nobody's trying to make you have an operation.
The one area in my mother's life that I couldn't figure out at all and used to think about a certain amount as I got older was men.
Be good, won't you, huh? Teresa's made you a lovely paella.
I don't like paella.
Oh, yes, you do. It's delicious. Now, bed at 9:30, and not a minute later, huh?
I just couldn't imagine what sort of life with men my mother had had before she was married. What sort of sexual life. What sort of any life. To begin with, there hadn't really been men. There had been beaux. The names of certain men would crop up in conversations. Somebody marrying somebody, somebody dying, arriving, somebody glimpsed somewhere. Oh, yes, Freddie. He was an old beau. Hugo was a beau.
There he is, look.
With Henri at Villefranche. Is that him?
Well, it must be. There aren't any other Henris.
It's very old. Look, all yellow and fading.
Well, that's him. Henri Bonnard. It must be him.
Why is he coming here?
Just for a drink, she said.
Yes, but why?
I don't know.
He's quite tall, isn't he?
He's very handsome.
Taller than Dad.
Do
you think he knows?
Who?
Daddy.
He must.
Perhaps he doesn't.
Look, he must. If we know, he knows.
Perhaps he's upset about it.
Perhaps he's angry.
Yes. Perhaps he is.
And are you happy at school?
Oh, yes. Well, sort of. Too much homework, you know.
Oh, they're always complaining.
I've yet to meet a child who does not complain of too much homework.
Oh, one of these days they'll realize just how lucky they are. I never went to school. You ought to remember that.
Atalanta likes to pretend she's never had any education. Nothing could be further from the truth.
Our brief friendship never seemed to touch on matters of education, as I recall.
Well, we were very young at the time.
And you've remained so too, my dear. You're a lucky man, Michael.
Indeed, I know it.
It was a subject of much conversation, I remember. Which one of us will she choose? Which one of us will Atalanta eventually marry?
Oh, please.
It's true. I spent my days with you in a tumult of jealous anxiety.
Oh, really? I can't imagine why.
What about Freddie Chatham?
Oh, yes. Well, he was rather special.
Ran into Freddie the other day. He remembered visiting you at the villa. Terribly impressed by it all. Such marvellous parquet. Such marvellous parquet.
Yes, I can see you now, standing by the tennis court, surrounded by adoring young men in white flannel.
Really, Henri? You make me sound such a flapper.
What's a flapper?
I used to be extremely shy as a young girl. You wouldn't believe how shy I was.
Did you play tennis?
Didn't you know that? Your mother was an excellent player, really first class.
No, really, Henri, let's stop talking about me. It's too boring.
Very well. I'll talk to you some. And how are you getting along at school, young man?
It's okay.
Oh, he's getting more American with every week that goes by.
You're here on business, I gather?
In New York on business, yes.
Monsieur Bonnard owns a perfume company.
Perfume?
And very successful it is, too. I always knew you'd be successful, Henri. I could tell.
Come now,
no.
Atalanta.
Some men are born to success, and you are one of them.
Another gin, Henri?
Oh, please, thank you.
Why didn't you tell us you were so good at tennis?
I wasn't so good. I was just average. And I never told you because you never asked.
Michael, Atalanta tells me that you stopped writing.
Yes, I retired.
Is that good?
Well, I think so. I couldn't be happier. Here.
Thank you.
Darling?
Please? I do wish you could stay to dinner.
Alas, it isn't possible. I have to meet with my American sales director.
Oh, can't you see him tomorrow?
Tomorrow I leave for Canada.
Canada?
To shoot.
To what?
To shoot.
Oh, my word, how exciting. What will you shoot?
Elk.
Ah, you like to hunt?
The boy's never hunted anything in his life.
No, I was wondering. I thought perhaps...
Well, not elk. No, not this time. No. Though I have shot elk in the past. Michael, are you a hunting man?
Me? Good heavens, no.
Tigran's not much good at sport, are you, darling?
No, I have neither the energy nor the inclination.
Well, in that case, perhaps you would care to come with me on one of these expeditions.
Well, Henri, that's a very nice idea. I'm sure you'd find it a very broadening experience.
I can't take you with me this time, unfortunately, but next year, maybe.
I don't like to hunt. I don't believe in hunting. I don't think hunting makes you a better man than anyone else.
Well, maybe we could do something else.
Michael, that was extremely ill-mannered of you.
Another drink, Henri.
No, I must be going.
No, but you've only just arrived.
Forgive me, Atalanta.
Michael, fetch Monsieur Bonnard's coat, will you?
Okay, Dad.
That night, after he had gone, I passed the coffee cups round in a wild transport of familial solidarity, and vowed that when I was older and had marvelous affairs, I too would bring everyone together around drinks or tea or soup, and be extraordinarily calm, just like my father.
Well, I'll tell you something I admire about your father, Michael. He has got nerve. all the nerve in the world. I remember once when he was staying in the same hotel as Herr Goebbels. You know who Goebbels is, don't you?
He's dead now, Uncle Hugh.
Well, okay, fine. You know who Goebbels was. So anyway, there they were staying at the same hotel, your father and Herr Goebbels. I think it was the Imperial. No, maybe it was the Majestic. Well, I can't be sure, but there they were staying at the same hotel. And Goebbels' room, you see, was directly underneath your father's. Now, have you got the picture? Okay. So one afternoon, your father noticed Herr Goebbels walking out onto his balcony, you see. So he went to his sideboard and he mixed himself a large dry martini. And then your father walked out onto his balcony and he called down very politely, very respectfully to Herr Goebbels. Well, Goebbels looked up. And your father, Michael, your father poured this large dry martini right down onto the old bastard's upturned face. Oh.
And what did Goebbels say?
But what did he say? Well, I suppose he said something like, Gott in Himmel, I don't know. Some sort of Teutonic oath, I guess. Oh, Michael, now that takes nerve. That really takes some nerve.
Can I have a banana split, please?
All the nerve in the world. Yes, everyone said he'd got all the nerve in the world. Why then did I get these flashes of fear?
If it hadn't been for you, that play would never have been put on.
Oh, I'm sure it would.
More coffee, Darrell.
Please.
Damn good play.
Damn good play is nothing unless you've got the dough to put it on. Thank you, dear. He gave me a check in the Ritz. Did you know that? We were having lunch. He wrote out the check and gave it to me before we'd had time to finish the potted shrimp.
It was only for 250.
King's ransom in those days, dear boy. Wealth beyond the dreams.
Mind you, I was jolly surprised. I didn't expect it to make quite such a stir.
What, my play? Oh, yes. Tremendous star.
Everywhere you looked, there he was. Photographs of him everywhere.
Sitting up in bed looking like a heavily doped Chinese illusionist. Dear Michael, what a darling man you are. Isn't he a darling, Atalanta?
Oh, yes. Yes, he is.
Chinese illusionist.
My parents came up for the end-of-school sports. There was to be a track meet and crew races in the afternoon. I didn't want them to come. They were so clearly different from all the other parents. So unlike those beautiful county families from Connecticut or Long Island. No billowy sport coat on him. No cashmere on her. No old St. Paul's blazer, no straw hats. Just a short, dark man with a mustache. An excessively tailored suit. A cane. He'd brought a cane, for God's sake. And a woman with an exotic hairdo, also a tailored suit. And a kind of presence that seemed to advertise and disregard her total ignorance of football at Yale or anywhere else. Mr. Enfield suggested that they might like to watch the crew race. And my mother beamed as if he had proposed a moonlight visit to the Taj Mahal. My father talked about the importance of a classical education in his newfound parent-teacher voice. My sense of gloom deepened. I was ashamed of them both.
You can't be ashamed of him, Michael.
I'm not ashamed.
I mean, look, he's famous. You know, successful. Even my mother's heard of him.
Your mother reads a lot. She knows about books.
She reads Ellery Queen, and she once had lunch with Sherwood Anderson. Edmund Wilson, she's not.
Edmund Wilson thinks the green hat is modish.
Well, screw him. I like it.
So do I. It's not enough, though. He could have done so much more.
Done what?
I don't know. He just gave up. He lives in the past. All that energy. And it's just gone. Wasted. He lives in the past.
Well, I think he's special.
I think he's special. That's why it bugs me to see him wasting his time with all those barflies.
I knew him very well. He was very kind to me.
Wait a minute, who are we talking about? Are we talking about T.E. or D.H.?
D.H.!
Well, he wrote me into Lady Chatterley, as a matter of fact.
Hey, that is something.
As Michaelis, I hasten to say, not Mellors. I happen to bill for Mellors. Well, thank you, Jack. Yes, I used to take my stories and read them to him. Lawrence. He's very helpful to me. Yes, tell me to stop trying to write like Arnold Bennett. You write with your own voice, he said. You write your own fantasies, Dick Grant. I did. Louis!
Michael, it's great to see you.
You're looking well.
So are you. Rex Harrison flew in. We're dining tonight.
Oh, say hello to him for me, will you?
I will. I will indeed.
Are you going to take up writing, Michael?
Well, I don't know.
Indeed he is. He's got a real talent for it.
Oh, like father, like son? Hardly that.
Don't be so modest. He had a damn good story published only last month.
Michael! Hi.
Peter!
How are you?
How are you? This is my son. The other Michael Arden.
What do you know? Hello.
Peter Toby.
Nice to meet you. Listen, I mean, are you sure it's still convenient?
Yes, certainly. You'll excuse us?
Bye-bye.
Published where?
Oh, only at Harvard, you know. The school magazine. I was the editor.
So tell us about it.
I'm sorry?
The story you've written.
Well, it wasn't much of a story. I'm afraid my father wrote a sold it.
Michael, and why not? He's proud of you.
Interesting idea.
It's a winner. Believe me, a real winner.
Maybe it is.
I mean, just look around you, huh? I mean, just look around at the top-rating TV shows. Ronald Reagan hosting GE Theater, Alistair Cook hosting Omnibus. It's what the public wants. It's what the sponsors want.
And this thing of yours, this Knaves and Aces?
It's a good title, huh? I mean, it's a real zippy title, huh? Knaves and Aces. Sophisticated stories about sophisticated people. Hosted by the man whose name is a byword for sophistication, your very good self.
I'm hardly in the public eye.
It doesn't matter. People know your name. They know it. Michael Arlen. I mean, there's glamour in your name, Michael, and that's what we're going to give them. Glamour, elegance, in a word, sophistication.
Look, Peter, this is all very well, but I know nothing about television. Absolutely nothing.
Well, you don't have to. I mean, I'd write the plays. You just introduce them.
Introduce them?
You'd be the host.
Oh, I see.
It's a great idea. A really great idea.
Yes, it's certainly very tempting.
I knew you'd like it.
But what happens next? I mean, if we go ahead with this thing, I mean, what happens?
Well, we do a pilot. A tryout show, you know? The script's ready. NBC's waiting to give the word. All we need is you.
Well, why not?
Mother.
You're home early.
He's still working.
He's been working all day.
I thought he said this wasn't a writing job.
He wasn't too happy with the script. Peter came round. They talked over some changes.
What's he like, this Peter?
I thought you met him.
No, only very briefly.
Oh, he's very charming, you know. Very charming.
Knaves and Aces. It's a lousy title.
Yes, your father's not too keen on it. But he's very enthusiastic about the idea.
Well, it's good to see him working.
Yes, isn't it? He's really quite excited, I think. I do hope it goes well.
Hello? Ah, hello, Hugh, dear. How are you? What? Yes, still working away. Well, they're supposed to be, I don't know, sophisticated thrillers, whatever that may mean. Well, Peter Tobin says that they're in the Freddie Lonsdale manner. No. He's written them himself. Well, they're not bad, really, but no Freddie Lonsdale. Yes, well, they may be. Who knows? Anyway, it's fun. What, Thursday? Just a minute. No, I can't on Thursday. No, I'm at the studio.
Okay, Mr. Arlen?
Ready when you are. Good evening.
The Herald Tribune thought you were very good.
You've been kind. Never mind. Might have worked.
My father wrote The Green Hat when he was 27. It made him rich and famous. For a few years, it made him famous. He was on one of the early covers of Time. He bought a canary yellow Rolls-Royce and an Astrakhan coat. Scott Fitzgerald came by one evening, hours late for dinner, full of booze. He looked around. He looked at my father. "This is how I want to live," he said. "This is how I want to live." We had a speedboat then.
I thought we might go to Cannes when I feel a bit strong.
You've got to take it easy, Dr. Gregson says.
Yeah, sure, I'll take it easy. My heart's okay. I'll be fine. Where's this then?
Did you have a good walk?
It's getting a bit chilly. What are you doing?
Writing to Michael.
Give him my love.
I will. How are you feeling?
Fine. Oh, God, I wish I didn't feel I was always so tired.
Well, you are supposed to be resting.
Yes, I guess so. I went down to the bar. There's some PR man from MGM sitting at Willie Morm's table, a jerk. I love this place, he said. Timeless, it never changes. Well, I told him everything changes. And this place most of all.
Would you like a drink?
I'll get it.
No. You stay there.
Some people seem to think they've got a God-given right to be insulting.
Why? What did you say?
Oh, I forget now. Something about having read The Green Hat in his cradle or some such claptrap. Said what a shame it was. What a terrible shame that so much romance had gone out of our lives. A real jerk. And then he was sitting at Willie Morm's table.
Don't let it worry you.
Jerk.
Do we have any stamps?
On the dressing table. Seemed quite surprised to find that I was still alive. They're such a good colour, he said. Christ, what did he expect? Said how much he admired my books. Oh, you're a class writer, Mr. Arlen, he said. A class writer. Loathsome little fellow.
I'll just take these down to the lobby, make sure they get the Morning Post.
Fine.
It was a fine dream my father had once, when he was young, when he was full of ambition and energy. A shinier dream than most, full of wilder colors, plumage, smoke, honeysuckle, scents, the feel of perfect ivory. But it couldn't last. Couldn't survive amidst the harshness of the Depression, the cruelty of Nazi Germany. That was no world for Astrakhan coats and canary yellow Rolls Royces. And so the world he had tried so hard to blow his shiny dream upon turned cold and sour.
A letter from Louise.
Oh, dear Louise.
Why don't we go on to Paris, she says. She'd love to see us. So many of our friends are there. Oh, it sounds such fun. Another drink?
No, thank you.
She had dinner with Henri last week.
Henri Bonnard?
Oh, she says he's looking older.
Well, it's getting on a bit.
He's not much older than you.
I'm getting on a bit. We're all getting on a bit.
They came home to New York later that summer. And my father thought he was actually on the mend, getting better, feeling better all the time. But then it wasn't so at all. It wasn't better. It was worse. Much worse.
Oh, hello. Could I speak to Mr. Glazer, please? Oh, hello, Mr. Glazer. I'm speaking on behalf of Mr. Michael Arlen. I believe you made an appointment to see him. Something about Aldous Huxley? Yes. Well, I'm afraid he's rather ill and he can't see anybody. Well, he sends his best wishes and his apologies. Thank you. What else did they say?
That's all.
Did you talk to Dr. Gregson?
No, it was the other man, the consultant. He was very sweet and gentle. We haven't quite caught it all, he said. He didn't say anything about another operation.
Oh, that bastard Gregson.
It's not his fault, Michael.
Standing there with his bloody tennis racket.
Is that why he collapsed? I mean, it wasn't his heart, it was the other.
No, it was his heart. Some sort of strain, some sort of pressure. I didn't understand.
Mother, will he have treatment?
Plenty of rest. There's not much else. He's only 60. Only 60. Perhaps he'll find the strength. We'll have to get a nurse.
Yes, I guess so. I've been rereading Reisman's Steps. It's a very good book.
Don't you want any more custard?
No.
Come on.
No. I don't feel that hungry. I know you don't read Arnold Bennett anymore, but you ought to have a look at him, you know. He wrote some very good books. Funny, isn't it? When I was your age, he was one of my field marshals. I was a corporal, and Wells and Bennett were my field marshals.
Better?
Yes, it's fine, thank you. I had lunch with Bennett once. Can't remember why. Savoy, I think it was. Bennett talked all the time about money. When's the doctor coming?
He's okay, Mr. Arlen. May have some difficulty in breathing. You know, short of breath. But he's okay.
Okay.
Okay, considering.
He talked about his family. His father's family. Could hardly remember them, he said. Old people with rimless glasses, black clothes, who could barely speak English. That's all he could remember. Exiles.
He's gone.
I have an idea now, finally, of what my father was like, of what he looked like, of what he sounded like. Even, and I count myself lucky for this, a small idea of the kind of man he was.
You rushing off anywhere this afternoon?
No, I'm in no hurry.
Oh, I thought we might call in at Scribner's.
Yeah, fine.
And I've got to drop this in on the way at Esquire's.
What is it?
Oh, just a thing.
Something you've written there?
Yes, something I've written. Something Esquire seemed to like, anyway.
Great. It's marvelous. May I see?
Sure. Thank you, Jacko.
Haven't I read this before?
Yes, it was published a few years ago in England. Made one or two changes. Jolly good, if you ask me.
I thought it was new.
It holds up very well. I was surprised at how little dated it was. It'd be nice to be in print again.
Michael! Ernest! Michael Arlen, you old bastard, how are you?
Well, I'm fine. You're looking great.
May I join in?
Of course. This is my son, Michael.
That's a great pleasure, Michael.
Mr. Hemingway.
I thought you were still on the coast.
On the coast? I've been there for years.
I heard that you were writing glamorous movie scripts for William Powell and Hedy Lamarr.
I was.
I knew it.
Years ago.
I knew it. I said so. You know,
I bumped into John O'Hara, and I said, that lucky bastard Orland gets all the plums.
It was one of life's divine accidents. I ran into Sam Goldwyn outside the 21. Hello, how are you? I said, and went in. And at the next table, there was Louis Mayer. Hello, I said, I've just been talking to Sam Goldwyn. He thought we'd been talking business. And so he promptly offered me 1,500 for 30 weeks.
You bastard, you old bastard.
What'll they have?
A scotch.
Scotch, please, Jacko, and 2 more of these.
You know why he gets these jobs, don't you? They're all snobs in Hollywood. They think that he is a gentleman.
Well, they're almost right. Every other inch a gentleman. Well, how are you, my old friend?
Well, I still got this damn skin trouble. Goddamn doctors. Thousands of dollars straight into their goddamn pockets. You're not in medicine, are you?
No, sir, not me.
Goddamn doctors!
I like the book.
You don't have to say that.
I mean it. Cantwell's a marvelous character. You really did do him very well, Ernest.
Yeah, well, could have written 500 pages about him alone. Thank you. Thank you. You read the reviews?
Oh, you don't have to worry about them.
Oh, I don't worry. I burst blood vessels. Shit! You know, I spent a lot of time and trouble writing a book, Michael. Across the river and into the trees. It's a good book. Well, your father thinks so. And I think so, too. The critics, however, think otherwise. Oh, they picked up their nasty little knives, tried to cut my balls off. For an hour or so, I toyed with the idea of retaliation. Then I realized the futility of such action. For they are creatures without testicles. Spermless parasites! Best ignored! Jacko?
Oh, you're a splendid fellow, Ernest.
Oh, so are you. We are both splendid fellows. Another one. Large. Michael.
No, not for me.
Michael Jr.?
No, thank you.
It's good to see you, Michael.
Oh, it's good to see you.
You know, artists have a very special instinct, Michael. Real artists. It's an animal instinct. They sniff each other out. He's one, I'm one. We sniff each other out. We know we're the same breed. Well, the same species, anyway. Isn't that so?
Perhaps.
He's a modest man.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that.
What then?
Well, I'm not a real writer, not like you. I just turned to writing.
That's not true. You know it's not true.
Anyway, I've retired.
Thanks, Jacko.
How's the boy?
Oh, he's fine. He's out in Africa. Did you ever see anything you thought?
No, not nowadays. No, I'm too much out of touch.
Never, not you.
Indeed, I am. Well, it shows you how out of touch I am. I didn't even know that you were in New York.
But I'm only passing through. They got some TV thing lined up for me. Then I am off to Idaho. I got a cabin out near Sun Valley. Well, I better be going. Give my love to Adelante.
I will. She'd like to see you.
Well, maybe next trip.
You'll call us?
I will. Been great meeting you, Michael.
My pleasure, sir.
You know, he's a fine boy. You must be very proud of him.
Well, of course you are.
Michael Arlen. We meet again. Soon.
Very soon, I hope.
Goodbye.
Bye, Ernest.
Still owe you that favor, Michael.
Ah!
Come on, what are you waiting for?
What did they mean about a favor?
That's just a private joke. There's one autumn in Paris. I introduced Ernest to a girl called Duff Twisden. Later, Ernest wrote that book around her. You know, Lady Brad. Right. Yes. At one time or other, everyone was in love with Duff Twisden.
Michael.
I'm here.
Michael.
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Michael. Michael, I've had a most extraordinary dream. I dreamt about my father. It was exactly as I remember him as a child. His hair was white, but it was still very thick, and he had his gold-rimmed glasses and long black coat. And, he was standing at the end of the street speaking to me. And he was calling. He was speaking in Armenian. I couldn't understand a word.